Hi everybody, my name's Andrew and today I'm driving a 2020 Toyota CHR Limited. You may have seen a few months ago I did a 1-year ownership report with this car. Today I'm going to give you guys a full in-depth walk around of the car and also take it on our new MPG testing loop. So let's jump right in. The CHR first went on sale in the US for the 2018 model year. 2020 and up models received a slight facelift with new LED headlights and other minor exterior changes. Of course, one thing I always have to talk about with the CHR is the sheer size of these LED turn signals on the front, which are over 2 feet long from end to end. Clearly, Toyota did not want to leave any uncertainty as to which way its CHR drivers were going to be traveling on the road. The name CHR, according to Toyota, stands for Coupe High Rider or Crosshatch Runabout. It's up to you which one you prefer, but those two names either way are very evident in the styling of this car. For one thing, Toyota wants you to think of this as a crossover with all the black plastic cladding everywhere, but at the same time they also know that it's really just a lifted Corolla hatchback. And they also styled it somewhat like a coupe with this two-tone black roof that makes it appear lower, and the hidden door handles up at the top that kind of make it look like a two-door. The unique design continues around the back of the CHR, from this funky rear spoiler with holes in it to all the body lines here with the taillights and the lower rear bumper. This is certainly one of the craziest looking Toyotas you can buy these days. A lot of people think this is an ugly car, but personally, I kind of like that it's funky and different. Also, this supersonic red paint looks absolutely stunning right now. On the other hand, I'm not super keen on the cargo situation in this car. For one thing, even on this top-end limited trim, there is no power liftgate, and at just 19 cubic feet, this is on the smaller side of this class, mostly because of the styling and this angle right here. The more normally styled Kia Seltos and Honda HR-V do have way more cargo space than the CHR. Moving inside the CHR though, I do have mostly nice things to say. Much like the 21 Corolla that I drove recently, although there are some cheaper materials here and there, Toyota has done a very nice job of making this interior look and feel premium. I especially like these climate control buttons in the center, which feel very nice, as well as the infotainment system in this car. Of course, it supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but the native infotainment system I particularly like because it's very customizable. You have this home screen, you can change the layout and what you see in all the boxes, as well as the color of it. I'm not a massive fan of all the piano black trim everywhere in here, which of course is just a magnet for dust and fingerprints. But of course I do love the diamond theme of this interior. You have diamond pattern on the seats, on the door panels. These buttons are diamond shaped, as are the steering wheel buttons, and the air vents over here. And of course the diamond pattern continues on the speaker grills and the kick plates down here. Oh, and how could I forget? The headliner also has a diamond pattern. Where else are you going to get a car with a diamond pattern headliner? Hopping into the back seat, this diamond theme continues with this one little panel right here for some reason. The back seat in the CHR is plenty comfortable. I do have plenty of space for my feet and legs. Although the downside, again, of the funky styling is that there is a pretty big blind spot back here, which also makes it feel pretty claustrophobic. The back seat is also where Toyota clearly cut costs in this car. There's no air vents back here, no charging ports. You don't even have a flip-down center armrest. Now it's time to take the CHR for a quick drive before the daylight fades, and simultaneously I'm also going to be doing our new fuel economy loop, which means before we can talk about driving impressions, we need to head to the gas station and fill the tank all the way up. All right, I filled the car up, made sure to use the 2-click method, of course, so it is completely full. I wanted to film this outside, but I forgot that there's copyrighted music here at Sheetz. And also the old people in the Audi in front of me just set their car alarm off somehow trying to fill up with gas. So I couldn't do it anyway. I had to listen to that the whole time. Anyway, let's get on the road. I tried to come up with a fuel economy test loop that was as close as possible to 50 miles, so I've ended up with one that is exactly 52.2 miles. It starts from the sheets back there in Apex, goes down Highway 1, turns around, and comes back. Of course, the loop nature of it means that any elevation change or wind conditions, for example, will effectively be evened out by the end of it. And this is what I'm going to use for testing fuel economy on various cars that I drive going forward. Of course, I'm going to make sure that certain variables are the same in every car as well, such as setting the cruise control to 70 and having the climate control set to the same temperature, which I think I've decided is going to be 70 on auto as well. So, boring stuff out of the way, let's talk about the CHR's driving experience. Although, actually, that's not the most exciting thing in the world either. I want to start off with one thing I think I mentioned in the Corolla video too, is the seats, actually. These are the same seats as the Corolla XSE, and they are very comfortable. Now, I haven't done a drive more than an hour to an hour and a half in these seats, so I can't really speak from experience on longer drives, but day-to-day they're very comfortable. They've got great adjustment, at least on the driver's seat, although unfortunately no memory settings. One small complaint about the driving position in this car, though, is that the steering wheel does not come out far enough for my liking. This may just be because I have abnormally long legs, I don't know, but my driving position would be better suited if the steering wheel came out, or telescoped out just a little bit further. And I seem to have that issue in a lot of Toyotas, I've noticed, actually. Another thing I am impressed with, though, actually, is the noise level in here. I don't know how well it'll come across on camera. GoPro audio is a little bit hit or miss sometimes, but I am impressed with it being fairly quiet in here. I don't have any kind of way to professionally measure the sound, but at least just to my ears, it sounds fairly quiet. It sounds honestly fairly similar to my BMW, actually. I have to say, performance is another area where this car is somewhat lacking, if we're being honest. Of course, it's not meant to be a sports car, but it only makes 144 horsepower and 139 foot-pounds of torque, which is not a lot. The fastest 0 to 60 that I recorded was 10.9 seconds, which I have to say feels dreadfully slow when you're doing it. It does have plenty of power, though, in real-world, day-to-day situations, though, as far as, like, highway on-ramps and passing on single-lane roads. It's perfectly fine. Alright, so I've just filled the car back up, and I have the results of the test. This car is rated by the EPA to do 31 MPG on the highway. At the end of the test here, the car was reading that we had done 35.5, roughly. And I did the math from the pump. It used 1.4 gallons almost exactly, which means that over 52.1 miles, we averaged 37.1 MPG, which is very impressive. Very, very impressive, actually. Absolutely smashed the EPA rating. And the other good thing is the car itself is pessimistic, which is always better than being optimistic in this case. As you can see from the sky, it is basically dark out here now, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up here. If you enjoyed it or found it informative, give it a thumbs up, or consider subscribing for plenty more content with this car and others.